Let's look at business services. Business services are used to capture new cases to trigger long-running processes, as an example. So a business service is a special place, which I'll show you in the work manager, where you can trigger them. You can also trigger them from a basic URL, or you can trigger them from a REST API call. So let's just look at this one. You will see when my business service starts, it initiates some data. I have a screen that will capture the patient information, the provider, and the order information. And then the process will then create these cases on the BPM engine. It will do the linking, and then it will actually trigger a long-running process. So that is starting the process from the client itself. So let's just quickly look at our user interface. We can see that I have a special place, if I go home, where I can trigger business services. So this is very much like a page flow, but it's a special page flow that allows you to call it from somewhere. You actually can create folders where business services can be stored and accessed. And you'll see as you use these, it'll actually create a recent and a favorite space where you can actually mark it as recent and favorites. So if I go back to my process quickly, you can see that my business service URL is defined in this URL that I have over there with the XPDL. And then we also use this to actually, or I add this to the end of that URL, and that will then allow me to call it from the URL. So let's just quickly look at my capture order URL. So you can see I have triggered a process business service by just clicking on a link, and you can see there is my URL that I just showed you. It's prefixed with an app, biz app, and then you say what the module name is, and you also say at the end of the day what the process name is that you want to trigger, and then also the version. So that gives you the ability to trigger a business service directly from there. You can also, as I said, trigger a business service from a page flow REST service. So you can see there is, if you go to the client, and if I go to the client, you can see you can click on these menu items where you can go to API Explorer, and in the API Explorer you will see that you have the ability to put or post a new instance of a business service. I think that's more or less for business services. Let's just quickly trigger one to show you how this will work in reality. So I'm going to click on Go. I'm going to say capture new order. That's actually not there. Fire services. So I'm going to capture a new order, and that will then bring up a screen very similar to the business service that I've triggered over there. But you can see in this case now it's part of the actual application. Now what you can do is you can actually go in there. You can answer all the questions. You can go to create provider. I've actually pre-populated all the data. And now you can go and say create process. So that is a business service, the ability to capture a new instance of a process. But you can, at the end of the day, also use it just to update data. So you don't necessarily have to call a long-running process. You can just create a process to do CRUD services, to update, delete, and so forth on case data in the engine. Thank you very much.